Well, hello there, my webby friend. I'm Bianca Board, director over at Web123, and as you may know, this month is Conversion Optimization Month. Now, conversion is really so important for your website. Last month, we talked all about SEO and getting more traffic to your site, and in my opinion, traffic and conversions are the two most important things when it comes to your website. A couple of weeks ago, I asked if there were any brave souls out there who'd like to volunteer their website for me to do a critique on it and share it with everyone. The lucky site today that I chose is Concierge Connections in Sydney, and it's owned by Layla Roberts. So hello, Layla. Now, even though I'm critiquing Layla's site, a lot of the tactics that I'm going to be talking about are universal. So I want you to go and grab yourself a coffee, get your pen and paper handy, and let's get started. So here is Layla's site, Concierge Connections, Unlocking Australia and Beyond. So as far as first impressions go, I think this is not too bad. I assure you, I have actually seen a lot worse in my time. So, it's got the bones of a good website. It's good to see a picture here of Layla herself, bit of personalization. I will note though that when I initially loaded this site, it was a bit slow. So I did test it down in our Melbourne office as well, just to make sure it wasn't my internet connection. And my tech heads down there tell me, Layla, that these images are actually quite heavy, as in they're quite large, and they're using a lot of the bandwidth to load the site. So you could go back to your developer and actually ask that he reduce the size of these to make them optimize better for web. And you could also look at changing hosts, because we did a bit of digging, and you could probably find a better host out there. We actually thought your site might have been hosted overseas, but it's not. So it is hosted in Australia, but we suggest that perhaps you could look at getting a different host. So what do I see when I first land on this site? I see a lot of red here in your logo. I think that's a bit overpowering. Now, red is actually a bit of a negative color, and I would suggest that you consider changing your branding to a different color, like these blues we see here. Blues are very calming and trustworthy colors, especially in the audience that you're targeting. And I think your logo, the icon itself here, is very overpowering, and it actually takes the attention away from your business name, and I think that should be the other way around. And I would also suggest that this icon itself here is part of your logo, and there's no nice way to say this, but it does look a little bit clip artish. And considering that I imagine you're a concierge to kind of executives, and they're pretty top end sort of clientele, so I'd expect something fairly polished. As a first impression, I think there's definitely room to improve in your overall branding and colors, and visual identity. Now onto the banner area. Banners are great, and it's fantastic that you've actually got copy to accompany your banner, but this white text on a busy image with this call to action button here that is barely legible, I think you could improve. It's just too much going on. It hurts my eyes. Actually, I really struggle to read that. I also think there's a bit too much white space up here. Oh, there's a phone number. White on white, phone number. I was going to say to put your phone number up there, but you might just want to talk to your web developer about that. Definitely cut down on this space and bring the elements up to the top. What it's kind of lacking here when I first land on your site is there's no kind of friendly, warm, fuzzy hello, kind of handshake, kind of introduce yourself to me and tell me what it is that you're so fantastic. What are you going to do for me? What problems are you going to solve? I'm a really busy person. That kind of meet and greet, it's kind of missing that. So we come straight into the menu and the banner area, and then these three areas here. So this here, the USP here is actually quite good, but that's not where my eye goes. I really would expect to see some kind of greeting here with a headline of how you solve my problem. Now these three boxes appear very out of place for me. Starting with the contact us page, it's like you've pulled in a feature page there, which is fine, but having, this please fill in the form below, which is what we've got here when there is no form below. And then if I actually go to your contact page, I see that it says welcome up here in your contact page, which looks a bit odd and out of place. The how it works is not really how it works. If I go to your how it works page, it's more about you and your philosophy and your FAQs. So that needs to be reworded because that doesn't make any sense. And the services are kind of the most important thing, like all this kind of really emotive copy, which is really fantastic. That needs to be in this main area here, telling me, what makes you special and unique and why I'd want to do business with you. Again, these social media icons down here that chase me around the page, I think they'd be better off up here, just static, so not moving, because they're kind of annoying. And I see what you're trying to do, be a bit tricky. And I notice when I go to a new page, they fly in across from the top left-hand corner and then they plonk down the page. And I just find that annoying. I'd rather see it there, pride of place at the top of the site. And that would remind me more so to connect with you on your social media channels. Now, there's a bit of a duplicate error here. I noticed once I started digging into your internal pages, I clicked on your homepage to go back to your homepage, and it takes me to a different homepage. So it seems that this kind of copy would be better placed on your homepage, but instead it's buried on a mystery duplicate homepage. So what I would suggest is fixing that error. I would be asking yourself, what is your one big primary goal for your site? And I would suggest that it is getting inquiries. So I'd make it really, really obvious on every page throughout all your content and pages everywhere. And back on your main homepage, I would think about segmenting your audience. So I see that you, in your services, that you have two main tailored approaches. Actually, I think it's on your other homepage. And what I would do is segment this homepage. So you have your welcome intro. That's where you sort of meet and greet and shake their hand and get to know each other. And then under here, instead of these three boxes, I would basically have a box here for people that are interested in your services in Australia. And then I'd have another box here, a big call to action box, which speaks directly to the target audience that is interested in your overseas packages and services. And then I would have another box here, which would be promoting your Sydney packages, which I see under your services page. These are really important and they're buried so deep in the site. So I'd really, really love to see that you really make the journey for your users really, really quick and easy and simple, so they really don't have to think. Okay, so on to your How It Works page, and I'm just going to talk a bit about some things here on your internal pages in this right-hand column that you can do. Firstly, I think you need to rename How It Works to be about, because that's really what it is. It's not really how it works. Secondly, I think there is a lot of wasted white space here, and you could pretty much move all of this way up to the top and save a lot of space and save a lot of scrolling. Down here, I think it's awesome. You've got this great shot of you smiling, but I think it'd be better up here, just close to the top of the page. And lastly, just on the content for this page, I definitely am a big believer that you need to tell everyone what the next step is in their journey. So I would put a big call to action here in text or an image that takes them to that next logical step, which coming off an About Us page would probably be about your philosophy or perhaps straight into the services that you offer. Over on the right hand column here, again, there's a lot of text. I think it could definitely be more visual. I would really like to see you move your phone number up the top and make it bigger. I totally think that this uppercase here is really hard to read, and it's not a link either. It's kind of like you're shouting at someone, and I think that can be better done by perhaps putting in there a quick contact inquiry form. So the form is just really short and brief, and it's right there on the page. I think listing an email address here, I wouldn't be surprised if you get spammed like crazy, because that's what spam bots will do. They'll go and collect all these. So I would just instead point people to use the contact form on your contact page. Newsletter opt-in is hidden right down the bottom here, and that really is the most important thing. Second to contacting you for a quote, definitely this should be huge, smack bang in your face, right in this top area here. And you really need to give people a reason to opt in. So you need to tell them how often you're going to contact them, and you also need to tell them what they're going to get, like what's in it for them. What are you going to be telling them in this newsletter? Why should they hand over their email address? And one of the tactics that I like the best is by offering something in exchange for their email address. So we have a website starter kit, which is really incredible value. I mean, it's free, and it took me months to put together, and that's what I use to build that relationship. I think for you, you could come up with some kind of ebook or checklist or cheat sheet or something like that. Perhaps look at who you're targeting, busy people. So maybe you come up with the top 13, awe-inspiring attractions for busy people, or something that's really going to make them look amazing to their clients or their colleagues, or, even their spouse, something like that. And that really, I think this right-hand column here, the order in which it should be is you should have your main, start with your phone number there. Then your main call to action would be to get in touch or request a quote or talk about a free consultation or something like that. Then it should be your big ass opt-in. So with your free ebook and newsletter sign up all in one. Then probably the social media icons, I would move them from down here up to just under here. Then the member logos, then probably the testimonials, and then the member logos, and then the find us on Facebook, so the Facebook feed. And that is how I would restructure, and I would kick it off right from the top, so we're not wasting any of this space here. Whenever someone comes in from anywhere and lands on any kind of page, so they're not always going to land on your homepage, then all the most important information is right there in the best place that it can be. So thank you so much, Layla, for being so brave and putting your hand up for this critique for Web123's Conversion Optimization Month. I hope you found it extremely valuable, and more importantly, I hope that you implement my suggestions, because if you do, I think you can kind of sit back and just watch your conversions skyrocket. We're all about education here at Web123 and giving you the tools to save thousands of dollars by DIYing it yourself. If you want our 72-point checklist so that you can go and give your site a little makeover like I've just done for Layla, then head on over to our website and download our free Ultimate Conversion Checklist. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm wishing you all the conversion success you so deserve. Until next time.